Hello, hello. May peace and blessings be with you. I am so excited to be here with the amazing Dr. Kimberly Washburn. She is back with us. She is an amazing leadership coach and an expert. She has had a lot of experience um, and expertise, and you've done a lot of different certifications in leadership as well. So it is my pleasure to be here with you, Kimberly, and diving into the conversation about better bosses. What do they do, and what are the things that not so good bosses do? I'm going to let you just introduce the topic and talk to us about it, Kimberly.
Great. Thank you, Timmy. I'm so excited to be here. I love being on a live stream with you. So I have a question for everyone out there. Have you ever worked for what you would call a bad boss? I have, and I know Timmy has too. What about, if you lead people, have you ever been a bad boss? And I'm going to raise my hand to that as well. Because, and some of those characteristics, and something that I say often that I read at a conference, I've been in HR for more than 30 years and in leadership development throughout that whole time, because as an HR leader, I was coaching, supporting managers and executive level people to be better leaders, better bosses, and be better people for their people. So I was at a conference once and I saw a t-shirt that said, "Bad bosses ruin lives." And I agree, because I was in a situation 20 years ago where I was working for a bad boss. She was a lovely person, but did not work for me at all, was very demeaning, not very positive about my accomplishments. And I actually had a board member call me when I left the organization because he had witnessed all of these behaviors. And it was interesting because he was like, "Yeah, what was your experience like?" And I said, "Well, I felt demeaned the entire time I was there, felt second guessed. Whereas the people I was leading loved me and loved working with me. And I felt very, very inclusive and supportive." And this person, this board member who actually interviewed me, about 6 months later, hired me for his organization. And he was one of my better bosses because he was an amazing listener. He understood who I was and what my strengths were. He supported my learning and growth. He was an amazing mentor. So it's, those are some of the characteristics that make you a better boss. And it all starts with self-awareness. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kimberly, absolutely. I feel like, we have experienced that. And I love this quote by Maya Angelou, who says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." So I think that all of the great bosses that I've had over time, they really brought out the best in me. They really and they did it with intention. It wasn't by chance. It wasn't, that it happened. I think they were very intentional. They really deeply cared about me as a human being, about my strengths and my potential, right? Where I could go, and not beating me up about things that were not my strengths. You know what I mean? They would line up projects that will bring out the best in me, and kind of protect me for things that were not my forte, right? And they were so intentional about that. And I think it is truly life changing. I think both, right? Having a great boss and not having a great boss also is life changing, because it shatters your confidence. You're not able to do the work that you're meant to do in this world because that one boss really scarred you for life. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and in that experience that 20 years ago, I mean, I had a child, a small child at home, and I could tell that she and my husband were feeling stress of that toxic environment and that boss. So it didn't just affect me at work, it was affecting me at home. And it did affect my self-confidence, and it was neat to have that board member reach out to me, and ask me if I wanted to do an exit interview, and I was brutally honest with him. And then 6 months later, he hired me for an HR position, and I worked for him for 6 years. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
What a blessing in disguise, though, right? I truly feel that even the experiences that we go through that are harsh, I think they're there to really teach us something. And for me, the eye opener was what not to do to other people, right? Like what what never to what never to do to break another person's confidence. And just I feel like I am so super blessed that I am building a team that always wanted to be a part of, right? That I feel like that is my intention, that is my vision. And we have so much fun together. We do like so much tech work. And so many times, like, I feel like things don't go as planned, right? Like, because technology is constantly changing, we're constantly learning, but we are in it together, figuring it out. And I am really hopeful that this is bringing out the best in them, like
Yeah.
someday they will pass that on to other people as well, right? That is also something that I'm big on, that leaders really build legacies, right? It's
Mhm.
not just one person that they impacted, it's like, multiple generations that come after them, that they have the ability to influence, ability to make better. They truly can make workplace better and the world better with that. So
Yeah. It's so important, that especially as a leader to be self-aware. And I think over the past few years, um, my effectiveness as a leader may not have been as good as I had been previously. And this is something we've talked about in the past. My mom passed away in 2022, and just and in 2017, my father passed. And so I'm like, wow, what is the effect of grief upon me as an individual as I lead people? And I know there was significant impact because I wasn't being the leader I knew I could be in after those situations because I was really in my grief and, you know, not necessarily as connected as I had been in the past. So that's like a critical piece of being a leader is being connected to your people and knowing exactly what motivates them, what their strengths are, and how to bring the best out in them. And that I wasn't necessarily present to that as I was experiencing my own process of dealing with grief. So it's fascinating because it's not just, you're a leader at work and you show up and you're doing the thing. It how you feel impacts that,
mhm.
and it can impact that greatly. So,
Yeah. Kimberly, I'm so grateful that you shared that. I think so many times, like, we are conditioned to compartmentalize who we are as human beings, and what we bring to the workplace and what we not bring to the workplace. And if you are going through grief, I think there is so much value in bringing even that with you, so that people have they have empathy for you, but then you're also having empathy for them, because so many people are going through, ever since, with the craziness of COVID and all of that, so much of that is happening. So many people have to support people, family members, aging parents, and all of that, that by us as leaders showing up, that what I'm going through, either grief or caring for someone, the intensity that comes with, we're
yeah.
also allowing others to do the same. And you're still being very flexible, and you're still getting the work done, right? Like, I feel like so much of that gets lost. So one of the experiences that I've had where I knew what not to do was also around when my mother-in-law was not well, and I wanted to take time off to care for her. And that was not something that would get approved easily. And that really was like, I can't do this. I shouldn't have to choose between caring for people around me and working. We're able to do both. We're able to juggle. We're women and we are so flexible. I feel like we get work done. And I'm not just speaking to women. I feel like, women are great multitaskers, but, men also, we're able to juggle. We're able to handle it all. I think having that leader who trusts that this person will get the work done and giving us the flexibility and what we need to be our best selves in that moment, I think is so, so, so important. And so many leaders miss the boat on that. Like they're like, no, you have to put in time off request X number of days before and all. It's insanity.
And then it's that coming at it with empathy. And because in the situation, both with my father, I had leaders who, when I found out that he was in the process of dying over the year that he was with us, where he was kind of actively going through those stages, my boss was like, okay, yeah, they knew every 6 weeks I was on a plane to Arizona giving my mom a break. And that was okay because they trusted me to get the work done. And same thing when my mom was going through her process. It was like my boss was totally flexible and understood, hey, you need to be there for her. And luckily I worked in a hospice organization at that time, so they totally understood. So it's so important that you have support from your leaders when you're going through emotional situations, especially with this generation being the sandwich, parents and children. And it's like, we've got to realize there's more to life than working. And if we understand that and are compassionate and empathetic, then that's a really key part of being a better boss, is getting that. Because if you have a bad experience and you're in a peak emotional experience because of what you're dealing with an aging or sick parent or child, it's not going to end well. You're not going to retain that person once they get through the situation. It's like they're gone. There was no connection or what do you call that? Just there's no support. And so it's not a good place to be. That actually makes it a bad experience for the person. So when they get ready to leave, they will.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kimberly, like, I feel like you're touching on some like very important things that it's like giving me a flashback of all of the times when I felt that I was understood, I was empowered, was when I had the flexibility, right? So one of the amazing leaders I work with, his name was Jim Lochran. He was at the University of Delaware, and I think he's like one of the best leaders I've ever worked with because his focus was to really bring out the best in other people.
Yeah.
And one of the things he used to say was about time off requests, right? He would encourage time off. He would say, you plan work around life, right? And I love that. I'm like, that was not a concept that people had, thought of before, right? It was just so refreshing. And I don't think that there has been ever a time that I felt so, I want to say like so empowered. I think I went way above and beyond of what I thought I was capable of doing because I had this environment that I could thrive in. So I'm so grateful to him. Like every time, like I think about, a situation, I'm like, what would Jim do? Like, what would he do in that situation? And then I try to, lean into that, and I try to pay that forward for other people, for my team members as well. One of the other things I loved was that he would get energized by creative ideas from other people, right?
Mm,
Like so many times we were conditioned not to bring forth an idea unless you're asked, not to speak, like, unless it's your turn or whatever, right? That's our childhood conditioning, and in school and everything, that's what we learn. But he would encourage that. He's like, he wants to hear people's brilliant ideas and things like that. Sometimes, like, I would walk in the office and he's like, what new idea do you have, young lady, or something like that. And he would just listen. He would patiently listen, and he would get excited about that with me. And that really brought out this creative side of me out. And I didn't think that I was a creative person before that. So,
mhm.
when I think about those things, I'm like, it absolutely matters, what leaders do with you, around you. Either they bring out the best in you, or they scar you for life. So we need to
Yeah.
take these roles seriously. We need to take leadership seriously. And I love that you're teaching people how to be self-aware, how to figure out what it is that is your own strength, and then how do you recognize strengths in your team members, and how do you, line up things for them so that they can thrive. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your
Yeah.
program, your course that you've created? I'm so
Yes.
excited.
So it's called the Better Boss Boot Camp. I love it. I love the alliteration of that. I had a marketing coach help me with that. And yeah, Better Boss Boot Camp. And it's all about, the first part is self-awareness. So it's first, and really this is written, the key or the ideal leader to take this is someone who may be just starting out. Like, they were rocking it. You were rocking it as an individual contributor. You knew your job. You're like a star player. And then they're like, oh, well, now you should manage people. And it's funny how, and this happens all over the world. It's like, yeah, you're great with your technical skills. And then they're like, oh, okay, now you're supervising. And it's like, oh, that's a totally different skill set. Because now you're not only responsible for your own performance, you're responsible for everyone who is on your team. And so it's like, oh, it's just the people stuff. Well, the people stuff can be really hard. And I dislike that they call it soft skills, because really these are critical skills to know as a leader. And the first thing is to know yourself and know what is your style? Like, how do you want to show up as a leader? And, what are the different styles of leadership? Because there are many styles of leadership. I just go through 4 of them in the course, and they're the more widely used. But doing an assessment of, okay, what is my natural tendency? How do I accomplish this work through people? And that's what leadership is. So there's a deep dive in that and an assessment. So that's like the first module. And then the next modules go into the really important skills. First one being listening, and how to actively listen, because that is what builds trust. And that is the secret sauce of leadership, is having a person trust you, so that, then they can connect with you better and open up and be real and honest with you, and not be that person that's afraid to tell you, oh, hey, the project's behind schedule, and or doing those hiding behaviors because they don't trust you. And so active listening is a really key component of that. And I've got a module on that, as well as feedback. And my husband, Patrick, he talks about, and this was years ago when we owned our own store, he's like, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And it is, because, as a leader, we know that we're going to have failures. And I don't even like that word failure, because it's like, okay, things don't work out the way we planned. So, and that gives you feedback. And so it's really important as a leader that you're able to provide feedback to your folks that is constructive and that they can learn from. So the next time they approach that situation, they do it better. And the same with leaders. I mean, as a leader, you need to be able to accept feedback. And as a leader, it's a lonely job. And you want people to be able to provide you with feedback because you don't know what you don't know. It's like silence. What is it? Silence is golden. I think I put this up as a quote on my wall a while ago. It was like, silence is golden, some people say, and then other people say, no, silence is deadly. Because if you're not hearing it as a leader, you don't know what you don't know. And your people are that amazing reflection tool for you to know, how am I showing up? And so that's an important module. Building a winning team is also in there, and included in that is recognition. So I've worked with many people who have very different styles of how they approach work. And it's really important that you recognize your people in the style they want to be recognized. So I've had workers that have worked for me who are very introspective, quiet, very private. And if I had gone out and recognized them publicly in a meeting, that would shock them, and that would actually derail them. So, and then there's other people like me who like public recognition. And if my boss just was like, hey, great job, and never really publicized it, then that would feel kind of, not good. So, and then finally, we go through conflict because as a leader, we deal with conflict all the time. And there's some models that I share and we go through in the course. So it's a very power-packed, concise boot camp, and I think it's really good. I'm the author of it, but I'm hoping that people will find it effective, because I think I've been intentional about the exercises. There's a lot of reflection activities within the course to kind of tap into, okay, how am I doing this? There's also some really great activities like practicing active listening. How do I practice giving feedback? Employing a feedback buddy, kind of getting someone to help you like see the things that you're not seeing by giving you feedback on how your communication is going. So yeah, so I'm excited about it.
Kimberly, you're just so brilliant. I absolutely love what you have done here, what you've put together. And I know that you have yourself gone through extensive certification and trainings, right? I want you to talk to us a little bit about that too. What was your PhD in, and what are some of the certifications that you have done? Because I think that really plays into that, because what I saw with the curriculum, what you have put together, is not something that I've seen in another leadership program put together in that way, right? Because I've gone to like different conferences and different things as well. And you pick up on different things from each one. But what you have done so brilliantly in this program is that you have collected multiple ideas, and you have actually put it in a way that makes sense and in the order that makes the most sense. I know that in the course you talk about, if there's a certain area that you need to jump to, you can always move ahead to that. But if you go in this order, I think it'll be even more beneficial. Like you talk about conflict at the end, right? Which is very strategic, because there are some other things that you need to have under your belt about, recognizing your own strengths, and also figuring out how to give feedback and all of that before you get to conflict resolution, because there's a madness.
Definitely. It builds on active listening, feedback, recognition, all of those things follow into that conflict. So I actually have a background. I've been working in human resources for more than 30 years. So I've worked with leaders hands-on in the trenches during that time. Back when my daughter actually went to college, I went back to school and got my master's in management with HR management degree, and then decided I wanted to continue and get my doctorate. So my doctorate is in business administration, and with a leadership emphasis. So because I work with business leaders, I wanted to be able to speak the language. And I chose as my study, because normally, people with the social science background will do a qualitative research project for their dissertation. Well, I was like, no, I want to do the numbers thing. So I actually did a quantitative study, which was really interesting and fascinating. And it helped me to really connect with people and ask questions. So I had surveys that I used, but so those are my education kind of experiences, my experience, 30 plus years with leaders, as well as I went through a certification to become a personal development coach years ago. Recently updated that with a ATD coaching certificate. I am certified in crucial conversations through crucial learning. So there's some really great models in there about how to communicate. I'm certified in human interaction technology, which is a form of neuro-linguistic programming. And I've been a student of that for 5+ years, as well as I'm certified as a DISC facilitator, so in the DISC tool. And in the tools that were created by Linda Behrens, she does type and temperament work. All of it's related to DISC and Carl Jung. So there's a lot of experience and education that I've had over the years. And my frame on leadership and leadership development, because I've been doing it for so long, is the leader really needs to know who they are first. And so that's why I started with, okay, what is leadership? What kind of leader are you? And then I flowed into the more tangible skills, because it all starts with self-awareness. So I didn't want it to be like everyone else, because I'm not. So that's kind of that was my methodology for putting it all together.
Yeah, Kimberly, so fantastic. Thank you for sharing all that with us. And I'm also, there's so much in there. I feel like there are things that I didn't even know about. So, that's like really cool. It is helping me see that even more as well. What the DISC assessment that you do with people, was that through John Maxwell? Is that?
No, actually, it was through my previous employer. I got certified with everything DISC.
Okay.
And yeah, and and during that time when I was with them, I worked with over 100 people, maybe even a couple of hundred people, in helping them understand their assessments and what that said. And it's really interesting because I'm actually now working with another certification process to become more of a business coach, because I swear I'm a perpetual student, which is good. I mean, I'm always learning, and that's important for leaders too. I've heard this saying, leaders are readers. And so it's really important that, we sharpen the saw continually. So, but this woman who is certified, she's also certified in NLP, who leads this certification. She's not as big on the psychometric testing. So because people will label themselves, oh, I'm an I style, which is what I am, but and then they they put themselves in a box. And that's really not the intention of a DISC assessment. It's more like, okay, what are my tendencies? Because we all have characteristics of all of those within who we are. So we're not just the style of person, and it's more about how we approach work and how we approach communication. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So fascinated.
Yeah.
So, Kimberly, do you want to briefly tell people, how did you and I meet? Because they may be wondering.
Yes. So we actually met through our marketing coach, Michelle Cunningham. Yay.
She's amazing.
She's all about helping small business, helping entrepreneurs, and most of them are women. I don't think there are any men in the program. So I met Timmy through Michelle, and then Timmy has this amazing product called One Tech Coach that I have all of my stuff on. It's an amazing platform for customer CRM, which I realized this morning because I'm noticing it's tracking all my emails with people that are in my database, which is really cool. It's where my course sits. It's where all of my marketing funnels are, and memberships or communities. And then yesterday we were talking about webinars. It doesn't do that, but we're gonna push this organization, go high level to integrate with that, because that's another thing I want to do. It also hosts blogs and newsletters, and it's just a one-stop shop. It does my invoicing and my sales cart. So, and I get to participate with Timmy a couple times a week because I'm in her mastermind, her Dream Believe launch. And this is my first launch. So I'm excited. I've been working with her for almost, 6 months. So finally, so it's kind of cool because it's like what is that saying? When the student's ready, the teacher appears. And that's been Timmy for me. So I love it.
Kimberly, makes me so super happy. I have absolutely loved watching you grow since day one to now, right? And you're going to continue to grow. And I absolutely love what you have put together with your funnel and everything. You've done all the work. It looks so beautiful. Is it okay if I just quickly share that, what that looks like?
I love it. It's so pretty. Okay. And Michelle's team helped me design all my logos and all my graphics.
I know they've done a great job with that. Okay, so I quickly just want to showcase what Kimberly's done here.
Yes.
So here is the page which we have shared. I'm going to just flash that on the screen one more time. efactorleadership.com/betterbossbootcamp. If you come here, just take a look at all the beautiful things she's added. It looks so fantastic. I'm so excited.
Thank you. I love it.
All of the different modules in the program, and it also talks about the bonuses that you get with it. Mm-hmm. And I know that, Kimberly, you're sharing it at an introductory price right now, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So right now, it's a very inexpensive price. It will be going up some point soon to $197, which is still a really great value, because the course is really worth about $497 or $500. So yeah. So it's a great deal. And going forward in my community, so one of those things that's going to be in the community is a opportunity to do kind of on the spot coaching. Like if we're going to come in and do some live sessions, and it'll likely be through Facebook, not through Facebook, Zoom. We're going to do some Zoom sessions with people, and then we'll post the recordings in the community, which is being hosted actually on One Tech Coach. It's not in Facebook. And I did that because so you may be an individual who works for a company who wants to bring this in. So they're individually priced, the course. But if you have a cohort of people, of managers, if you're a HR leader or someone who's like, hey, I don't have a leadership development program in my company, reach out to me and I can figure something out for you. The reason why I'm not hosting it on the community on Facebook is, as a corporate entity, I know that, that's kind of frowned upon to be in that community. So this is a private community. It's not like regular social media. It's locked down with passwords. So it's actually a more, confidential, secure, I guess that's the word, secure site to do that community building. So So if you're interested in kind of reaching out, and I can work a bulk deal for you to get that, to get your leaders all in sync. And I'm actually open to even doing some facilitation as for organizations. So I'd love to hear from you if you're interested in that, because that's my background, is in-person training. So for me to do something virtual, recorded, all of that, it's different. And I like that human element, the human interaction piece. So
Yeah.
And I did design this to be, the courses, the videos are relatively short. All of them are under 20 minutes. Some of them are under 15 minutes, because it's all about doing the work and doing the reflection.
Yep. It's a fantastic program, and I can't believe that you're offering it at only $47, but I think it's a good thing. I want people to be able to jump on it, and especially new leaders, aspiring leaders who are like, what am I in for, right? Definitely this is going to help you. This is going to help you with the foundational pieces that you want to have in place as you go forward, and as you develop other people within your team and other leaders within your team as well. So I absolutely love that. And I am so glad that you mentioned about creating even the possibility of their own communities, right? That are off of social media, but still give them the element of having that community. And you're able to do that for them. That is so fantastic. And I can't wait to see all the impact, all the positive impact that you create in the world, Kimberly. This has been so fascinating and a dream come true. I know this was your dream, but through that, I also got to dream. And I really, truly believed in your work and what you're creating in the world. Together, we are creating a massive positive impact, my friend. And I'm so grateful.
It is, because my goal is to eliminate bad bosses in the world. That's my big dream. So, and the dream of E-Factor leadership, and kind of people ask me where that comes from. So E is experience. So it's all about creating an experience for your people within your organization. And that starts with culture and your values and what what your company stands for. And it's so important that as leadership of an organization, that you're being intentional about culture, because the experience is what's critical. So it's not just, the customer experience, it's the employee experience. Because if employees are having a good experience, then your customers will have a good experience, because they're happy people, they're connected. So that's where E-Factor kind of comes from. And that's my focus, is to create a world where people love to go to work and are working for great people and doing great things. So that's what I'm about.
Fantastic. I wish you all the best with this launch, Kimberly, and let this really positively impact the world and create goodness throughout many, many, many workplaces, many, many, many organizations, and millions of lives changed with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I enjoyed it very much. We'll do it again one day. Yes. Maybe when you have your next program ready, right? We'll do this again.
Definitely. Next month. No, just kidding. 2 weeks.
I'll be there.
All right.
All right. Have a great weekend, Kimberly.
You too.
Thank you for watching, everyone. If you're catching the replay, use the hashtag replay to let us know. And we will be back. Check out Kimberly's program, efactorleadership.com/betterbossbootcamp. Until next time, may peace and blessings be with you.
Thank you. Bye.